2025 and the 50th regular meeting of the current term of the Metropolitan Council of Nashville and Davidson County. Would all members of the council, as well as the public, please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation is being offered this evening by District 5 Council Member Sean Parker. Councilmember Parker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So I scoured my bookshelves for something that I found to be relevant and meaningful in this moment. And what I landed on is a poem from Rifat Al-Arir from 2012 titled Olive Tree. It is from the perspective of an olive tree. Oh, beat me more, hit me with your sticks, step on my leaves, smother my twigs under your boots like you always do. The beating I bear, the humiliation, I do not care. But take me not, steal me not. Even if I burn, here I belong, and to them I shall return. If you hear my talk, you may feel my pain, but you belong not here. You do not even know how to touch me, how to gently squeeze me, how to hug me, how to wipe off the dust when I am ripe and when I am not, when I need water and when I do not, and how to pick me like how they always do. Your smell and heavy boots and the metal on your backs and your metal bars. For God's sakes, who on earth olives picks with metal bars for sticks? But I ramble again because you won't understand. And if you understood me, you would not, in the first place, be here. You come and go. I see you once or twice a year with either flames or sticks, and I weep for the rest of the year. But one day, my twigs shall grow, the oil shall flow, my people shall glow, and you will go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Councilman. All right. Welcome, council and community members. November is Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. This cancer sadly has one of the lowest survival rates among cancers, but those survival rates are increasing year over year, which is why research funding and awareness and early detection and diagnosis are so important. Early warning signs of pancreatic cancer include persistent abdominal or back pain and digestive issues, so never dismiss those. Your perceived gastroenteritis might actually be pancreatitis. I lost my father to pancreatic cancer in September of 2019, a few days after the council's inauguration at the start of my second term serving on council. Optimism is growing for pancreatic cancer in recent years due to advances in personalized mRNA vaccines, new drugs targeting a certain gene mutation, and improved understanding of surgical options. Scientific research remains as important as it ever was. Yet, over $2 billion in federal research grants were canceled by the NIH earlier this year, affecting nearly 1 in 30 clinical trials. A recent survey indicated that 83% of Americans favor increasing federal funding for cancer research. 71% believe this should be a congressional budgetary priority. There is strong bipartisan support, so please elevate the importance of federal funding of cancer research to your representatives. Speaking of federal representation, early voting is underway at 6 locations for Nashvillians who reside in U.S. House Congressional District 7. Early voting continues through Wednesday, November 26th, with Election Day on Tuesday, December the 2nd. So please make plans to vote early and look to the Davidson County Election Commission for any information you may need. Please note also that due to the special election on Tuesday, December 2nd, by rule, council's meeting date will shift, and that will be to Thursday, December 4th, with committees on Wednesday, December 3rd, as we have previously noticed. Continuing to look ahead on the calendar, the Thanksgiving holiday is Thursday, November 27th, and the council office will be closed as well on Friday, November 28th. We hope that everyone has a restful holiday with family and friends. I know that council members and I are thankful for the privilege of serving and representing Nashville. All right, without objection, we will suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to please record the names of the members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes of the meeting of November 4th, 2025? Okay, there's a motion. It is properly seconded without objection. And seeing no one seeking to be recognized for a change to the minutes of the meeting of November 4th are approved. Mr. Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
There are no messages from the mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Clerk. All right, now we will get right into our agenda. I know there are many folks here rightly interested in Section E of our agenda regarding elections. Item E1, our only item in this section, is an election to fill the seat for General Sessions Judge, Division 6. All right, I do want first to request the committee report, and then I will share with the body and our guests and the nominees how this process is going to go, okay? So Chair Cash, you're recognized.
Thank you. For the election to fill a judicial vacancy in the General Sessions Court, the nominees were C. Michael Robinson, Mark Andrew Cole Sr., Jodie Bell, Leroy J. Ellis, and David Jones. And the committee voted 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting for all 5.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Cash, for that committee report. Members and the public will have received on October 1st a memo from me regarding how this process would go this evening. First, as part of this process, is that the candidate's nominator or the candidate themselves may speak up to 5 minutes at this meeting, okay? The nominator may yield their time or a portion thereof to the candidate or other persons wishing to speak. But in no event may more than 5 minutes of total speaking time be allotted per candidate. For our nominees, if your nominator is not here or you are a self-nominee, I will acknowledge you, and that will be at this public podium here. Our agenda shows a certain order, and that is the order in which these nominations were received, okay? That's why they are listed in that way. So we will proceed with them from the first one on through. And first, I will recognize on behalf of C. Michael Robinson, his nominator, Warwick Robinson. You're both welcome to come forward to the public podium, at which time the clerk will begin your 5 minutes. You're recognized.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the council. My name is Warwick Robinson. I'm here today to introduce you to Michael Robinson. Michael Robinson is a fine and respected lawyer in Nashville. He's smart, he's patient, he's a critical thinker, and more importantly, he believes in justice and that justice applies to everyone that walks into the Justice A.A. Birch building. Madam, I would like to introduce and yield the rest of my time to Michael Robinson.
Of course. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Warwick. Madam Vice Mayor, members of council, family, friends, to the people of Nashville, my name is Michael Robinson, and I'm seeking the appointment to the General Sessions Court because Nashville deserves an experienced judge who can start the job day one with efficiency and knowledge of the court. I'm uniquely suited to fill this position because I'm a third-term judicial magistrate for the General Sessions Court. That means that the judges of the court have appointed me to do the essential functions of their job at night. That's given me the opportunity to understand what it means to be a judge, to weigh on balance the public's right to feel safe in their homes against an individual's right to a bond, to determine whether there's probable cause to issue an arrest warrant or to issue a search warrant. I've already been doing those things, but what's more is I've learned the technical aspects that a General Sessions judge will have to do 100 times in their first week. I know how to do them because I've literally been trained by the General Sessions judges to do them. This gives me the opportunity to start day one with efficiency in serving the people of Nashville. Importantly, my experience extends beyond the criminal docket because this is a general sessions court. It's more than a criminal court, it's also a civil court. I'm in my 9th year of a general practice of law, representing clients in every area of law that will be before the court, both criminal and civil. This allows me to start the job day one, knowing the court, no matter what docket I start on. The highlight of my career and the true honor of my career has been serving as a night court magistrate, and that's because, not dissimilar from many of y'all, public service is in my blood. It runs deep in my family roots. Dating back 80 years when my great-grandfather was the sheriff of Nashville and decades before civil rights were even a consideration for Nashvillians, he appointed the first Black deputy sheriffs of Nashville. That led to my grandfather, who raised a family during the civil rights movement. And he saw that the people of Nashville needed 24/7 access to the judicial system. You didn't have to wait 3 days for a bond, more like 3 hours. He started the night court, where I've served as a night court magistrate, which led to my father reshaping the way we as a community understand domestic violence victims and seeing their actions for what they are, pleas to be heard, to be taken seriously. But that's not why I'm seeking this appointment. And I want y'all to be the first to hear that. I'm seeking this appointment because I can contribute, I can serve the public, and work to make Nashville better for all Nashvillians by showing Nashvillians it's not a crime to be poor and starting an indigency docket, by showing Nashvillians that rehabilitation works better than punishment for drug addiction, by continuing my work on the DC-4 Drug Recovery Court, by showing Nashvillians that they should feel safe in their homes at night, as my experience as a night court magistrate has proven absolutely essential. And yes, that all three of those things can coexist in one judge. That's why I'm asking for your support. That's why I'm asking for your vote. Because the people of Nashville deserve an efficient, effective, and fair judge who can serve from day one. With your help, I look forward to serving the people of Nashville from day one and make Nashville better for all Nashvillians. Thank you all so much for this opportunity. Ask for your support and your vote. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Robinson, and both Mr. Robinsons. So next will be Mark Andrew Cole Sr., who was nominated by Council Member Bradford, who I will acknowledge first. And if your nominee does want to go ahead and come forward if he intends to speak, and just stand in the vicinity of the podium. Mr. Bradford, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I won't speak long. I would like for Mr. Cole to have the majority of the time. I just want to add that in the time I've known Mr. Cole, he's proven to me that he is a considerate individual who's focused on public service, who's focused on doing what's right for the community. And in my opinion, both professionally and personally, he's got the experience that we need for this position. And with that, I would yield the rest of the time to Mr. Cole so that he can explain to you in his own words why he should be appointed. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Cole, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, members of council, family and friends, and fellow nominees. My name is Mark Cole. They told me to put the full name on there, and I didn't think it was going to be the whole thing of Mark Cole Sr., Mark Andrew Cole Sr. But my name is Mark Cole, and I'm a native Nashvillian. I've lived here my entire life, except for the 4 years I was in Macon, Georgia, going to school, and 3 years going to law school in Memphis. Being a judge has been a dream of mine, and actually at my age, because I went to school a little bit later, I thought that dream was about gone, and I thought I'd missed out because of the 2022 elections. But when the circuit judge position came up this past summer, I applied for it. I didn't know what really to expect, but I went ahead and put my hat in there. That's the one that Jim Todd got, whose position that we're going for right now. It really showed me how, well, I take that back. Let me go back. Like I said, I grew up here, went to private and public schools. I grew up in West Nashville when it has a lot of farmland. And when I got out, I went to work. When I got out undergraduate, I went to work at Sovereign Bank, which some of y'all may remember. That got taken over about 4 or 5 times, and I wound up working for Ford Credit, and I decided I need to do something different in my life. And I decided to go to law school, and I decided to go to Memphis because my younger brother had gone to UT Law School, and he was pretty much a big man on campus, and so I wanted to go someplace where I'd be different. After I graduated law school, I clerked for the chancellor in Murfreesboro, Chancellor Robert Corlew, who's about the nicest man I've ever met. And I learned how to be respectful, how to let people be heard, how to explain what the decision is, and then act on that decision. I feel that, I don't have generations of family in politics. In fact, one grandfather was a mailman, the other one was a contractor. But I come before you because I think my experience in criminal court and in civil court, which is different than most of the candidates here. Most of the candidates are mainly criminal court judges or criminal court attorneys. When Jim Todd went before the circuit court judge job, he estimated his time was spent 75% criminal and 25% civil. And I think probably since he was going for a criminal court judge, if he was going to err on the side, he's going to err on the side of more criminal court. I had the ability to start on day one also. I think it would not be hard to figure out where to sign the order. I think it's important when people come before the judge, before the court, they know that there's going to be somebody up there who's going to listen to them. And that's one thing I've seen before. I've acted as a hearing officer for the Department of Labor. And I believe I sent an email to everybody, and you have that letter of recommendation from Mark Finks. It's one of those things where I truly enjoyed that. And then when they revamped the Department of Labor and took away that job, I kind of felt lost for a bit. I've worked in state government. I've done criminal law up to attempted first-degree murder case. I've done a lot of civil law, a lot of divorces, a lot of things like that. I understand Nashvillians, even though we are one of the most diverse groups I've ever seen now. But I understand what people want in a judge. I understand what's needed. And I want to let you know that I will do the best I can every single day, come in early, leave late, to make sure that the people of Nashville have their day in court. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. All right, next in order is Jodie Bell. Ms. Bell was nominated by Councilmember Coupin. Thank you for going ahead and coming forward, Ms. Bell, and Councilmember Coupin, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President, and it is my honor to nominate and support Jodie Bell for this position. I was impressed when I first met Ms. Bell in a professional capacity, seeing how she was advocating for the IDEA program and funding for indigent defense, which we know is such an important piece of our court system. But don't take it from me. I'm going to read a letter from our colleague, Jeff Prepty, who could not be here this evening, and then have some other colleagues that would like to share some words as well. So Councilman Prepty writes, "Dear colleagues, of the many duties we have as council members, selecting a candidate to fill a general sessions judicial vacancy is, in my opinion, one of the most consequential functions this body undertakes. The judges that make up our general sessions courts are critical public servants who are to be conscientious stewards of our local judiciary and uphold the highest standards of judicial practice. At a time when our institutions and democratic system have been under consistent attack, the candidate appointed to the bench will have the solemn duty to ensure faith in our institutions and safeguard the rights of every individual who appears in their courtroom. The calling to public service is one with each of us are intimately familiar, and I am truly grateful for each candidate putting their name forward for consideration to serve this city, for which we all deeply care. Each candidate has demonstrated their willingness to participate in the America experiment of forming a more perfect union through service, and each candidate should be commended for their willingness to serve. However, the task now falls upon us to select the candidate we believe embodies not only the values of a sound and prudent judiciary, but who is also best qualified to be a steward of this institution. As each of you have done, I've examined each candidate with great interest and vigor. After weeks of careful consideration, I believe that Jodie Bell is the candidate best suited to ensure a sound and responsible judiciary that serves every Nashvilleian. And with that, I will yield my time to Councilman Kapp, who has some more words to share.
Councilman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Councilmember Coopin. It's often thought that the higher the court, the more important it is. But that's actually not true in one really critical respect, which is the number of people that come before you. The General Sessions Court in 2024 heard 171,193 cases. That is a large amount of Nashvilleians interacting with the judicial system, and the Sessions Court is where those cases originate, civil and criminal. And that is where most people who are interacting and being in court experience their relationship to the court system. So the presiding judges there have an incredibly important role about how justice is administered, public safety upheld in Nashville. Ms. Bell is a widely known and universally respected member of the bar in Nashville. The Nashville Bar Association survey reflects that. She is, and there's a well-known type in the legal profession, the sort of attorney that younger attorneys go to for advice and to learn. Ms. Bell is absolutely that figure in Nashville, but not just for younger attorneys. She's an absolutely excellent litigator, which is important because she's learned it in the law. But being a litigator does not necessarily make for a good and careful and sensitive judge. But Jodie has, in addition to her extensive 30-year career in litigation, an excellent heart, sensitivity, fairness, and care for people that is essential in the General Sessions Court. And don't take it from me. The federal, the chief judge of the federal district court here in Nashville has appointed Jodie twice to be on the local rules committee. And she was also on the committee to review and screen applicants for the federal public defender in Middle Tennessee. That appointment was made by the chief judge of the Sixth Circuit. That is the federal appellate court that we are a part of. My point in saying that is that when judges need advice about how to be judges, they go to Jodie. We should do the same. And on a personal note, somebody with her career and her experience has extremely valuable skills, marketable skills that could get a lot of money in the marketplace. And it speaks to me very loudly when someone who has those marketable, lucrative skills chooses to use them serving and representing indigent people in our city. I think we should all take that to heart. Ms. Bell is the judge that we need in Nashville, and I will yield my remaining time to her.
Thank you. There's not much.
So, Ms. Bell, you have 18 seconds.
I'm going to talk fast. This will not be the first time. If appointed, I can assure this body that every person who appears before me, be they a victim, a witness, a party to a litigation, a person accused of crime, will be treated with dignity and respect, regardless of a person's race, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation, gender, foreign-born, American-born. I will treat them fairly. I'm asking for your vote, and it would be an honor to serve.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. All right. Next is Leroy J. Ellis, who nominated himself. And so you are very welcome to come forward and be recognized for your 5 minutes if you choose to use all of them. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I appreciate that. I don't have a nominator because I didn't want to share my time. We started out Spanish, so I'll say, buenas noches, señor, señoritas. Soy Johnny Ellis, abogado de Nashville y O'Hickory. Me gustaría, por favor, vote por mí, por the way of the General Sessions. And, let's see, we don't have any Arabic people here tonight, but anyway, my name is Johnny Ellis. I'm on the book as Leroy Ellis, which is my legal name. I've been practicing law in Nashville for 27 years in all the various courts. And I speak more than one language. And I think that's important because you can't make friends with people if you don't know how to speak to them. When I was a foreign exchange student in Germany, when I was in high school, that's when I started learning languages. And it was so nice to hear someone else say hello to me in English. So when I got back to Nashville, I thought, well, I want other people who are not from America, not from the United States, to feel that same feeling. And I learned I can say hello in about 10 languages. And I've got a lot of Hispanic clients and Arabic clients, and so those are just languages that I speak. But you can't understand people or their problems if you don't know how to talk to them. And so I think that's important when somebody comes to my office for advice as a lawyer or to the courtroom for me to make a decision as a judge. It's important that you understand what they're talking about and where they're from. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what language you speak, who you find attractive, or what kind of hair you have. I care why are you in my courtroom or in my office and how can I help you? So that's important. Now, during the Rules Committee, I was asked a question on equity and inclusion, and I thought, that's a tough question for me because I don't really know where to go with that. I was in Nashville's first desegregated schools. In the 4th grade, all of a sudden we're desegregated. Now, we were kids. We didn't know that we weren't supposed to get along with each other, so we played together, we ate lunch together, we shared lunch, and as we grew older, we snuck into our dad's liquor cabinet together, we stayed out past curfew together, and we made friends. And at the end of the day, friendship is important because equity is the byproduct of what you really want, which is friendship. Because we tend to treat our friends as equals, and you have to be able to know how to speak to your friends and relate to them on a different level. So you say, well, do you really know what it's like, to be the only person in a room that looks like me? And yeah, because I went to a lot of parties and stuff when I was in high school and otherwise, and I was the only person in the room that looked like me and never got a bit of trouble out of anybody. But it was always a good experience. And you say, well, what about our immigrant community? Can you relate to their plight of perhaps deportation? Well, my grandmother was Margaret Stallman. The next answer to your question is yes. The Stallman building, that family. And during the World War, they tried to have them declared as enemy aliens, have their property seized, and have them deported. So yeah, I get that. I can understand that plight and that problem. Am I fond with the LGBTQ community? Well, one of my best friends and a good advisor is a guy named Shane Burkett, who, if you don't know, was the first openly gay man to run for Metro Council some years ago. So yes. Otherwise, and if you think that perhaps if racism is a learned behavior, my father founded the American Civil Liberties Union in 1966, along with Adolfo Birch and a group of others. And after they founded the American Civil Liberties Union, which was for voting rights and free speech, he lost the lease on his office at the National Bank and Trust Building. So, yeah, I think that was probably not a just result. My family's been practicing law here on this acre of land for over 5 generations. So I understand how Nashville got here, and I'd like to see where we're going to be beneficial, to be useful, for us to benefit everyone. And I think I'm there with that. Because on the side of the building across the street, it says the first obligation of a society is justice. Now, it's not black justice, it's not white justice, it's not poor justice or rich justice, it's justice. It's not political justice, not based on political values or political parties or anything else like that. Justice should be based on the facts and the law and a judge with a good sense of direction, moral and otherwise, about how to move forward and how to make a good decision. My name's Johnny Ellis, or Leroy Ellis on your ballot. I would appreciate it. I think I have the wisdom and the perspective and the ability to be a good judge for Davidson County, and I would appreciate your vote very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Next in order is David Jones, who was nominated by Councilmember Toombs, who is not present. So you are very welcome to come forward, and you have your 5 minutes, which you can take yourself or cede to others as you see fit. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Good evening. My name is David Jones. I'm an attorney with well over a decade of experience. I currently serve Nashville as an assistant district attorney. I'm a native Nashvillian. I'm a husband, and I'm a father-to-be. I've committed countless service hours to local organizations here in this city. Now, in a few moments, you, the Metro Council, will vote to appoint the next General Sessions judge for Nashville-Davidson County. I believe that this is an important vote for our criminal justice system. Therefore, I urge you to vote for the most qualified appointee. Let me tell you what a qualified appointee looks like. The person you vote to appoint needs to be competent in all legal matters in General Sessions Court. General Sessions judges, they handle criminal and civil matters. I have years of experience practicing in both. As I said before, I'm an assistant district attorney. I've tried numerous cases. I've handled way too many cases in General Sessions Court to count. With all due respect to the other nominees, I am confident in saying that no one has more experience handling these types of cases than me. I also have experience handling civil matters in General Sessions Court. I know that one of the major areas of practice in General Sessions is landlord-tenant law. I've represented both landlords and tenants in my career. I've drafted lease agreements in my career. Throughout my career, I haven't just been on the sidelines. I'm not someone who will have to get up to speed on these issues. I have real hands-on experience handling these matters, and I can start on day one. Secondly, the person you appoint needs to use proper discernment when handling cases in General Sessions. Obviously, I would apply the law in cases before me. However, my experience being a hands-on attorney and my lived experience being a son of this city also give me the understanding that not every case is the same. Not every case needs to have the same disposition. Sometimes it takes courage to ensure an outcome of justice. Justice is not always popular. It's not what the police think. It's not red, blue, black, white, brown, gay or straight, or any other adjective. Justice is doing the right thing. I'm a guy that believes in public safety for my neighborhood and your neighborhoods too. I'm also a guy who will dismiss a case if a defendant's rights were violated. My record speaks for itself. For example, during the 2020 protest, I was the one reviewing all of those incident reports. I made the call to decline prosecution when people were exercising their right to protest. I also made the call to prosecute the people who caused violence and destruction to property and our citizens in this city. For example, the historic courthouse where we are located tonight. Those were my calls. Finally, the person you appoint needs to be someone who cares. Look, I've served this city for most of my adult life. I chose to be a prosecutor so I could serve my community. I wanted all people, no matter the color, no matter the tax bracket, no matter if they were a victim or a defendant, to know that they were getting a fair shot at justice when they saw me at the prosecutor's table. While some of you might not know the work that I stand for, a lot of your constituents do. I now want to give Nashvillians the same comfort as General Sessions judge. That's what a qualified appointee looks like. Metro Council members, I am competent, I use proper discernment, and I care. That's why I'm seeking this appointment. I hope I can earn your support and your vote tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. All right, we will move into the process of the election. Again, reading from the October 1st memo that was provided to the body. This election will be held in accordance with Council Rule 48.2 and 48.3. Voting shall be by machine, and members will see all nominees on the tablets on their desks. The person receiving the largest number of votes cast will be elected if that person received a majority of the votes, okay? This only requires a majority of those voting. Abstentions will not be considered as votes cast and therefore will not contribute to the election. If more than 2 candidates are on the ballot, and there are, and no candidate receives a majority of the votes cast, then the 2 candidates with the largest vote totals will proceed to a runoff. Okay? And then the clerk will load the vote again. If there is a tie between two candidates, the vice mayor will cast a tie-breaking vote if that vote would be a deciding vote in the election. All right? Okay, Mr. Clerk, if you would please open the vote. Mr. Harrell, do you intend to vote, sir? Okay. All votes are in. Mr. Clerk, please show the vote. Council has elected Jodie Bell. Congratulations to Ms. Bell. And we thank everyone for putting themselves forward. And that was with 20 votes. All right. Again, congratulations to Ms. Bell, and thank you to everyone for putting themselves forward in their willingness to serve. All right. Next is Section F on our agenda, appointees and nominees. This portion of the agenda shares all persons scheduled to appear before the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee for an interview this evening. Referrals are back to the committee will be by rule as part of the council's two-meeting process for all elections and confirmations. No votes will be taken by the body in this section of the agenda other than for deferrals. Chair Cash, your committee report, please, sir. First, for any withdrawals or deferrals, if there are any. Go ahead.
Thanks. Wrong page. For the Transportation Licensing Commission, the nomination of Carrie Rogers was approved. 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. That's for a term expiring December 4th, 2025. For the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Commission, the appointment of Mr. Chris Weinman for term expiring March 24th, 2027. We voted 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. And for the Human Relations Commission appointment of Katie Feldhouse Jackson for a term expiring July 22nd, 2028. We voted 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
All right. So all those folks will be referred back to your committee for confirmation consideration on December 4th. Next, Section G, you're recognized again for your committee report on the appointees that are in the second step of your committee's two-meeting process. Go ahead, sir.
All right. For the Metropolitan Board of Health, the appointment of Jeffrey Stovall for a term expiring July 9th, 2026. We voted to approve 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency appointment of David Lawrence for a term expiring November 5th, 2030. We voted 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For the Metro Planning Commission, the appointment of Aria Dang for a term expiring March 31st, 2026. We voted to approve 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For the Stormwater Management Commission, the reappointment of Janie Camp for a term expiring October 31st, 2029, and the reappointment of Jay Fulmer for a term expiring October 31st, 2029, we voted on both of those, 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
All right, thank you for that report. And if you could please make a consolidated motion to confirm these
So moved.
appointments. Is there a second for that consolidated motion? Okay. Does anyone need to remove an item or a appointee from the collective motion for purposes of a no vote or abstention? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, council has confirmed all of these appointees. To those of you that were just confirmed, if you did choose to return to the council chamber this evening, which is not required, do please stand to be recognized as I do read your names. Whether you are in the chamber or watching live from home or on a replay, we do appreciate you. So this is to confirm that council has confirmed to the Board of Health the appointment of Jerry Stovall. Thank you. Please remain standing. To the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency, the appointment of David Lawrence. To the Metro Planning Commission, Aria Dang. To the Stormwater Management Commission, the reappointments of both Janie Camp and Jay Fulmer. All right. Thank you so much for being here with us, sir, Mr. Stovall. We appreciate your willingness to serve. And we thank all those folks who may be watching online or from home. We appreciate them as well. All right. Next is section H in our agenda, nominations. First is H1, the Contract and Compliance Board. This is for nominations to fill one vacancy on the board for a term expiring on October 15th, with an election to be conducted at the December 16th meeting. Council members will have received a memo from me November 3rd, and I did share that as well at the meeting of November 4th. Would members, I see they have entered the queue to make nominations. That's great. Nominations are open at this time. Mr. Huffman, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to nominate Emma Boyd Elliott.
Okay. Mr. Huffman has nominated Emma Boyd. And can you say that last name one more time, sir? I'm sorry.
Elliott.
Elliott. Okay. Next is Councilmember Russ Bradford. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to nominate Tamika White.
Okay, Councilmember Bradford has nominated Tamika White. Are there any additional nominations for the Contract Compliance Board? Ms. Webb, you're recognized.
Thank you. My computer's not working. They're going to get someone.
Okay, thank you.
I want to nominate Stuart Huffman.
Okay, Ms. Webb has nominated Stuart Huffman. Are there any other council members seeking to make a nomination for the vacancy on the Contract and Compliance Board? Seeing none, those nominations are now closed. And if you would, please be in touch with the clerk, or he will be in touch with you for contact information for your nominees. So next, item H2, regarding the Human Relations Commission. Nominations to fill one vacancy on the commission for a term expiring on April 18th, 2028, with an election also to be conducted at the December 16th council meeting. Again, members received a memo from me on 11/3, November 3rd, and then we shared that memo as well at the meeting of November 4th and shared what this commission, as well as Compliance Board, do in calling for those nominations. And so those nominations are now open. I see Ms. Webb is in the queue. Ms. Webb, you're recognized.
I would like to nominate Jonathan Turner.
Okay, Ms. Webb has nominated Jonathan Turner. Next is Councilmember Clay Capp. You're recognized, sir.
I nominate Kerry Adams, K-E-R-I.
Okay, Mr. Capp has nominated Kerry Adams. Is anyone else seeking to make a nomination? Seeing none, the nominations are now closed. All right. Next, we're going to move into our public comment period. Members of the public who are Tennessee residents wishing to speak may sign up at a table outside the council chamber from 5 to 6 p.m. on the day of the council meeting. Public comment is limited to 20 minutes total at council meetings, and each speaker is allowed up to 2 minutes to speak. Persons speaking on agenda items must be prioritized to comply with state law. This evening for public comment is Mr. Steve Ryder. He is speaking on agenda item 43 regarding Bill 1113 in opposition. Go ahead, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the council. I didn't know how to go out and do that. I can't say that I'm in opposition or favor, so I really needed a clarification, but there are only 2 spots that you could go list there.
Understood. Thank you.
So I appreciate the lead sponsor, Jacob Cupin, for going out there and getting a deferral, but the deferral is only for 1 meeting, and the public hearing is scheduled for mid-December. So that raises some concerns for me because I don't know if it's clear that on 3rd reading that we can amend it. And so I want to make sure that I'm on record that we get a clarification on that. I thought we were going to do that tonight, so I want to make sure that when we have the public hearing that it is amendable at that time. If not, then we have to make some changes, I guess, in the legislative process. Raising taxes on people, I've seen a lot of small businesses, restaurants closed down, lost a bike shop. And I don't know if you've really followed it that much, but you know, large businesses can absorb some things, medium-sized businesses, but small businesses really are having a hard time out there. And so the proponents of this, I might ask them to go out there and look. If they want to raise some money, they can do that for whatever they need to do for beautification. But small businesses out there are really suffering. I saw Choi, it was a nice restaurant, Asian restaurant, closed down. I had a favorite restaurant that shut down. And I don't think there's a real appreciation about how small businesses are really struggling in this town. It's a really big issue, and I saw Arnold's talked about $133,000 property tax. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryder. Mr. Ryder was the only member of the public to sign up for our public comment, and so that concludes public comment. Next is Agenda Section J regarding rules of procedure. First among them is J1. This is amendment to Rule 12. Members will have on their desks a explanation of this amendment as well as the analysis. I will do this just like I would do a piece of legislation, so I will as well read the sponsors: Johnston, Horton, Weiner, Evans, Hancock, Druffel, Huffman, Webb, Spain, Rutherford, Allen, Benton, Eastlick, Gregg, and Cupin, and recognize the primary sponsor, Council Member Johnston. You're recognized.
Thank you. So this rule is sort of in keeping with a lot of the things that we have done this term to provide some more efficiencies in our meetings.
Ms. Johnston, will you request a committee report?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's no worries. I know it's not.
Yeah.
It's a little different than legislation, so understandable. Councilmember Cash, Chair of Rules and Confirmations, you're recognized, sir.
Thanks. So on the rule change, we voted to approve, 4 in favor, 2 against, and 0 not voting. Should I report on the amendment or wait on that?
Let's wait on that. Let's take them one at a time, especially since that one is going to be deferred by rule. So the vote was 4 to 2. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Johnson. Back to you.
It was an amendment on this rule change. We can still take it separately, but
I appreciate that. Mr. Cash, did you have a report on the amendment by Council Member Stiles?
Yes, we voted 0 in favor, 5 against, 1 not voting.
Okay, 0 against, 5. Okay. Wait, say that. I'm sorry, sir. Say that again. So say in favor first.
There were 0 votes in favor.
Got it. Okay, understood. 5 against. Understood. All right, back to you, Ms. Johnson. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So what this rule change does is takes the non-binding resolutions that are honorary or memorializing and moves them to proclamation. It's been a pretty heavy load on the council office, number one, but also I think it takes a lot of time for our agenda. We have a lot of incredibly important matters that we need to discuss. And I understand that these are important items for folks. Proclamations are printed out just as beautifully. There's a searchable database for them now, which is nice. But I think that there's just so much of true business of this government that needs to be handled, that our meetings kind of go long. Again, the council office is really overwhelmed, short-staffed, I think. Maybe Margaret would agree. And so anything that we can do to help with that. Also, when people come to be the presentations, if it's done properly, they don't have to sit here and wait for us to get through elections or whatever it is before they're actually recognized. And then there are going to be certain times, I think there are certain events, whether this memorializing or honorary, that I think the council will want to be on record as, and that's when you can suspend the rules. And so it doesn't completely take it away. It just is an efficiency. As far as the amendment goes, I'm sort of agnostic on the amendment. 12.3 is literally applied usually just to those memorializing or honorary resolutions. So it doesn't make, it doesn't matter if it's there or not to me. So how anybody thinks. So I hope you will support.
All right, so we are on to discussion. And again, we are taking this up just like legislation. So in the midst of this discussion on this rule, if a member wants to move the amendment, that's a proper kind of motion in the midst of this discussion, okay? First in the queue for discussion is Councilmember Sepulveda. You're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'll be voting against this rule change. We've discussed this in the past, and the sponsor and I have both been rules chair, and I believe that honoring significant moments in our city's history outweighs the minimal time that we save in our council meetings. We have streamlined our council meetings significantly in the past through rules change, right? We have had consolidated agendas that we have done in rules changes. We have only 2 presentations allowed during announcements period. If we have this rule change, there could be the possibility that we start fighting over those 2 announcement presentation periods. And then we have a rule change to allow more presentations, and then we go long when it comes to announcement periods, and then on and on and on. There are moments in history in this city that we need to acknowledge, right? There are civil rights leaders that pass away. There are histories such as Hispanic History Month, Black History Month, LGBTQ History Month. And I don't think that a couple of minutes longer in council meetings makes up for this rule change. In fact, I would just encourage us to not speak so much. Honestly, that's all we have to do. Don't pull things from the agenda. Don't be long-winded. You don't have to be on TV. That's all you got to do. But there are things that we have to honor and have to acknowledge in our city's history. It is important and it is imperative. It has to be on record, and it is not the same thing as a proclamation. Sure, I have used a proclamation instead of a resolution before because I have accidentally, passed the deadline to file a resolution, and I have used a proclamation to acknowledge something during the announcements period. I have done that, and it's been fine. And I haven't minded, but there are certain things that I have to do in a resolution. So, colleagues, this is too important. There are things that are too important to not have a resolution. And so I would encourage you to vote against this, because a couple of extra minutes that we're sitting here at our desks doing important city work, it's not worth it. It's going to be okay. It's going to be just fine. our meetings have gotten shorter with other rule changes.
Thank you. Next in the queue is Rules Chair Cash. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Chair. I really appreciate members like the sponsor working on ways to make our meetings run more quickly and smoothly. I think this rule change, though, goes too far. Councilmember Sepulveda kind of said it well. We're removing some things that, over the last 6 years, I could think of some honorary or memorializing resolutions that we could have done without, but I could also point to many that I think added to this council and added to our understanding of our city's history and of the people that we serve. I want to note that while there are a good number of sponsors, 15, and I respect them all, I want to note that there is not one sponsor that's a member of, there's not one sponsor that's a member of the Minority Caucus, not one that's a member of the LGBTQ Caucus, and not one that is a member of the Immigrant Caucus. I just feel like that we need a broader consensus to do away with this rule, and I'm not comfortable, so I'll be voting no. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Cash. Next for discussion is Councilmember Vo. You're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I also stand in voting against this rule change. I appreciate the sponsor for bringing it forth for discussion. But for me, community recognition is part of our role as council members. And for me, resolutions provide transparency that proclamations do not. Resolutions appear on our agenda, they enter the public record, and they're visible to the whole city. Proclamations are far less accessible. If transparency and accountability matter, we should keep community recognitions in the public and not move them into a process with less visibility. This recently happened for a restaurant in our city that just celebrated 50 years. International Market just celebrated 50 years, and we had Patty Mint Day, and we were able to do that as a proclamation, but nobody knows that, right? Nobody is aware of that, and they were the first Thai restaurant that came to Nashville, and we had to do that because of varying timelines, and so I know how important it is, and to me, this does concentrate power unnecessarily, because then we have to then centralize gatekeeping on what community stories get heard. Every member on this body should deserve the autonomy to meaningfully represent their district and their community without these limitations. And efficiency should not come at the expense of representation. We can streamline processes without silencing community voices. For me, if I have to choose between Filipino American History Month or AA and HPI History Month, and then, for example, I just had a very important community member pass away, and their family is coming next month because we're going to honor Santa. And I think it does matter because I received an email from a community member who thanked me for sponsoring this resolution honoring Santa, Mr. Irwin, because he made our city very special. And so for me, I'm just very concerned that it is limiting voices and not allowing us to represent our communities as they should be. And so I encourage my colleagues to vote against this rule change. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vo. Next for discussion is Councilmember at Large Evan Siegel. You're recognized.
Call the question.
Thank you. Okay. This is non-debatable motion. It requires 2/3 of those voting, and we can take it first by vote. If you agree with the motion for the previous question, that will end debate on this rule change, and we will move straight to the vote. All in favor of the previous question, please say aye. Any voting no? Okay, the ayes have it. So we're going to move to the vote. Mr. Clerk, just in an abundance of caution, would you please load the vote for this, please, sir? This requires 27 votes of the council for passage. A rules change requires 27 votes, a supermajority. With all votes in, Mr. Clerk, if you would please show the vote. This amendment to the rules of procedure has failed with 12 votes in favor, 14 against, and 1 abstention. Again, it requires 27 votes. All right. Regarding item J12, Rule 29, amendment to rules of procedure by Rule 53.2. Our proposed rule amendments for due consideration have a mandatory deferral of 1 meeting. This is sponsored by Mr. Spain, Huffman, Coupin, and Wiener. And so this will be referred to the committee at our next meeting, the first meeting in December. Okay? All right. Next, we are moving into the consolidated consent agenda, item K, section K rather. All resolutions and second and third reading ordinances on this agenda are included on the consent agenda if recommended for approval unanimously by all committees to which the item was referred. Items on the consent agenda will be voted on at a single time. The item number along with the resolution and ordinance number of the items on the consent agenda will be read by me, and members of council may remove any item from the consent agenda by request before the consent agenda vote is taken. All right, the first item recommended for the consolidated consent agenda, looking at section L in our resolutions, is agenda item 3, resolution 2025-1627. Next is agenda item 4, resolution 2025-1628. Agenda item 5, resolution 2025-1629. Agenda item 6, resolution 2025-1630. Agenda item 7, resolution 2025-1631. Agenda item 8, resolution 2025-1632. Agenda item 9, resolution 2025-1633. Agenda item 10, resolution 2025-1634. Agenda item 11, resolution 2025-1635. Agenda item 12, resolution 2025-1636. Agenda item 14, resolution 2025-1638. Agenda item 15, resolution 2025-1639. Agenda item 16, resolution 2025-1640. Agenda item 17, resolution 2025-1641. Agenda item 18, resolution 2025-1642. Agenda item 19, resolution 2025-1643. Agenda item 21, resolution 2025-1645. Agenda item 22, resolution 2025-1646. Agenda item 23, resolution 2025-1647. Agenda item 24, resolution 2025-1648. Agenda item 25, resolution 2025-1649. Agenda item 26, resolution 2025-1650. Agenda item 27, resolution 2025-1651. Agenda item 28, resolution 2025-1652. Agenda item 29, resolution 2025-1653. Agenda item 30, resolution 2025-1654. Agenda item 32, Resolution 2025-1656. Agenda item 33, Resolution 2025-1657. Next, moving to bills on second reading proposed for the consent agenda. First among those is Agenda item 51, Ordinance BL 2025-1117. Agenda item 52, Ordinance BL 2025-1119. Agenda item 53, Ordinance BL 2025-1120. Agenda item 54, Ordinance BL 2025-1121. Agenda item 55, Ordinance BL 2025-1122. Agenda item 56, Ordinance BL 2025-1123. Agenda item 57, Ordinance BL 2025-1124. Agenda item 58, Ordinance BL 2025-1125. Agenda item 59, Ordinance BL 2025-1126. Agenda item 60, Ordinance BL 2025-1127. Agenda item 61, Ordinance BL 2025-1128. Agenda item 62, Ordinance BL 2025-1129. Now, for items on third reading proposed for the consent agenda. First is agenda item 63, Ordinance BL 2025-1022. Agenda item 64, Ordinance BL 2025-1023. Agenda item 65, Ordinance BL 2025-1088. Agenda item 66, Ordinance BL 2025-1091. Agenda item 67, Ordinance BL 2025-1092. Agenda item 68, Ordinance BL 2025-1093. Agenda item 69, Ordinance BL 2025-1094. Agenda item 70, Ordinance BL 2025-1095. And agenda item 71, Ordinance BL 2025-1096. Agenda item 72, Ordinance BL 2025-1097. Agenda item 73, Ordinance BL 2025-1101. Agenda item 74, Ordinance BL 2025-1102. Agenda item 75, Ordinance BL 2025-1103. Agenda item 76, Ordinance BL 2025-1104. Agenda item 77, Ordinance BL 2025-1105. Agenda item 78, Ordinance BL 2025-1106. Agenda item 79, Ordinance BL 2025-1107. Agenda item 80, Ordinance BL 2025-1109. And agenda item 81, Ordinance BL 2025-1110. Agenda item 82, Ordinance BL 2025-1111. And lastly, agenda item 83, Ordinance BL 2025-1112. Do any items need to be removed from the consent agenda? If so, if members would please join the queue to request that. Councilmember Welsh, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I need to pull items 70 and 71, BL 2025, 1095 and 1096.
Okay, that is agenda items 70 and 71, 1095, 1096, sponsor Vo and Welsh. Those will be pulled from consent. Next is Councilmember Sepulveda. Councilmember, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Item number 30, RS 2025-1654.
Okay, agenda item 30. Councilmember Sepulveda has requested Resolution 2025-1654 be removed from consent. It will be removed from consent. Next is Councilmember Horton. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Can I remove item 67, please? BL 2025-1092.
Okay, Councilmember Horton has requested the removal of agenda item 67. That is ordinance 1092. It will be removed from consent. And next, Councilmember Emily Benedict. You're recognized, ma'am.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to pull number 32, Resolution 2025-1656.
Okay, Councilmember Benedict has requested agenda item 32 be removed from consent. This is Resolution 1656, and it will be removed from consent. Do any other members need to remove items from the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none. Mr. Clerk, are all committee reports in for the items remaining on the consent agenda?
Yes, all committee reports are in.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Members, is there a motion for approval of the consent agenda? So moved. Okay, properly moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. All right, council has passed all items on the consent agenda. All right, next we're going to go back to resolutions that were not on consent. And first among those is without objection, I'd like to take the bills on introduction and first reading first. Is there any objection to doing that? Okay. With that, then all items on first reading, this go ahead, Ms. Johnson, related to first reading?
Yes.
Yeah, and I will go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and share that all items on first reading shall be voted on at the same time, unless requested by either a primary sponsor individually or two or more members. And so now you may request that. Go ahead, ma'am.
I need to remove item 44, BL 2025-1146.
Okay, number 44. Okay. All right, that will be removed from the consolidated first reading vote. And Councilmember Ewing, you're recognized to remove an item from the first reading consolidated vote.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Sorry for the noise.
Good? Okay.
I need to remove items 41 and 42, BL 2025-1143 and 1144. Please.
Okay, you are not the lead sponsor, so I need another member to join you in that request. Yes, sir, Mr. Parker?
Can a member just abstain on the first reading, or do we require consent for all the consent items on first reading?
You may abstain. Okay, Special Counsel Darby, regarding Mr. Parker's point of order, go ahead.
First reading's a little bit different than something like the consent agenda, and the council member would be able to abstain, but you would be abstaining from every item.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Ewing, you're recognized again.
Okay, then rather than take them off, just to save time, I will just abstain from those two items.
Okay, or all the items?
Yes,
okay,
that's fine.
I appreciate that. Okay, so that removal was for purposes of abstention. Okay. All right, so the only item then being removed from the collective vote regarding first reading is agenda item 44 by Ms. Johnson, and that is ordinance 1146. Do any other items need to be removed from a collective first reading vote? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion for approval of all the items remaining on first consideration? Okay, properly seconded, without, I'll just say, all in favor of the consent agenda, please say aye. Any abstentions? Ms. Ewing, you want to be recorded as an abstention? Okay. So with that, council has approved all items on first reading. And now we will go back to that pulled item, agenda item 44, ordinance BL 2025-1146. This is sponsor Johnston. This is an ordinance to amend chapters 17.36 and 17.40 of the Metropolitan Code to create a detached accessory dwelling unit exclusion overlay district. Okay, council member, you are recognized.
Thank you. I want to move approval on first reading. I just need to defer the second reading and the public hearing to March 3rd for the Planning Commission consideration.
Okay, so your motion at this time is to move approval on first with the second reading.
Yep, second reading and public hearing to March 3rd.
And public hearing to March 3rd. Is there a second for that motion? Okay. All right, so it is properly seconded, and we are then on to discussion. Is there anything you want to say aside from?
It's literally just to allow for the Planning Commission to hear it and have that process play out.
All right. Is there anyone seeking discussion on the motion to approve on first with second reading and public hearing on March the 3rd? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay. All right, that will be taken up on second reading on the meeting of March 3rd. Okay, that then concludes all items on introduction and first reading. And so now we will go back to the resolutions that were not on consent. First among those is agenda item 1. This is resolution 2025-1533. Sponsors Toombs, Huffman, Benton, Cupin, Vaux, and Spain. This is a resolution approving a Homeland Security Grant Program application from the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Office of Emergency Management. Hold, please. We have lost quorum. Text your friends, tell them to come back. That is a logistical matter. It's a Okay, quorum has been restored, so we may continue. I think I had concluded reading the caption. I can't recall the OEM to fund efforts to prevent, prepare for, protect against, and respond to acts of terrorism and other catastrophic events. Sponsor Huffman, Chair, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports. Public Health and Safety voted for a two-meeting deferral, 8 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, two-meeting deferral. And for the report of the Budget and Finance Committee, Vice Chair Spain, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. Budget and Finance voted for a deferral until December 16th, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, and so that was a two-meeting deferral as well, sir, correct? Yes, okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, back to you, Mr. Huffman, for a motion.
For a two-meeting deferral.
All right. properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion for the 2-meeting deferral motion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, this resolution has been deferred 2 meetings to the meeting of December 16th. Next is Agenda Item 2, Resolution 2025-1534, sponsors Toombs, Huffman, Benton, Coopin, Vaux, and Spain. This is a resolution approving an Urban Area Security Initiative grant application from the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency to the Metro government, acting by and through the Office of Emergency Management to fund costs related to enhancing security and the resilience of high-risk urban areas by building, sustaining, and improving capabilities to prevent, prepare for, protect against, and respond to acts of terrorism. Chair Huffman, you are recognized again, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports. Public Health and Safety voted to defer this meeting defer this item 2 meetings, 8 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, thank you. And for the report of the Budget and Finance Committee, Vice Chair Spain, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. Budget and Finance voted for a 2-meeting deferral, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, now it's back to you, Mr. Huffman, sponsor, for a motion on this resolution.
Move for a 2-meeting deferral.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. Is there discussion on the 2-meeting deferral motion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, this is also deferred 2 meetings. Next, hang in, members. We're going to zoom right on through. We don't have many left here. Okay. Agenda Item 13, Resolution 2025-1637, sponsors Toombs, Huffman, Gadd, Stiles, Ellis, and Spain. This is a resolution approving Amendment 1 to an Air Pollution Control Program support grant. The United States Environmental Protection Agency to the Metro government, acting by and through the Metro Board of Health for ongoing collection of data on ambient air concentrations for fine particulate matter in Nashville, Tennessee. Go ahead, Public Health and Safety Chair Huffman and sponsor. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Public Health and Safety, committee reports.
That's fine. Yeah,
Okay,
go
yes,
ahead.
the Public Health and Safety Committee voted to approve this as substituted, 8 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, as substituted with Ms. Allen substitute. Okay, and for the report of Budget and Finance, Vice Chair Spain.
Thank you, Madam President. Budget and Finance voted in favor of the substitute, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting, and in favor of the bill as substituted, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, thank you much. Okay, back to you, Sponsor Huffman, for a motion.
I'd like to move to approve as substituted.
Okay, well, first you just got to move the bill to get it in front of us.
Move the bill as, move the bill.
Okay, all right, there's a motion to approve. Now, the next thing you can do is you can move that substitute.
Move the bill as substituted.
Okay. All right, so there is a second on the motion to substitute, okay? So there's a motion to approve, and now there is a motion to substitute with Ms. Allen's amendment, and Ms. Allen is seeking to be recognized. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to explain, all this does is make the caption of this align with what the description of the grant actually is.
All right, this is, even though it's housekeeping, it is a housekeeping substitute. All right, all in favor of the motion to substitute, please say aye. Okay, and then now, Mr. Huffman, sorry, you got to renew your motion to approve as substituted, please, sir. I didn't even push your button. Go ahead.
Move to approve as substituted. Tongue-tied.
Any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, this has passed, or you have adopted this resolution as substituted. All right. Okay, next is Agenda Item 20. This is Resolution 2025-1644, sponsors Toombs, Huffman, and Spain. This is a resolution approving an application for the statewide School Resource Officer, SRO, program grant from the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security for the placement of school resource officers in schools for the continued efforts to establish and maintain safe and secure learning environments for eligible schools, K through 12 public schools and public charter schools. Mr. Huffman, sponsor, you are recognized also for your committee report, Chair. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Public Health and Safety voted to approve this item, 8 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, and for the report of the Budget and Finance Committee, Vice Chair Spain.
Thank you, Madam President. Budget and Finance voted in favor, 9 in favor, 1 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, 9 in favor, 1 against, and 0 not voting. Okay, Mr. Huffman, back to you for a motion on this bill.
Move for approval.
Okay, is there a second? This is properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Okay, with one member voting no, because it is a resolution with only one vote, we do have to do a roll call vote. So, Mr. Clerk, if you would please load the vote. Ms. Weiner, are you seeking to vote? Okay. With all votes in, Mr. Clerk, please show the vote. Okay, you have adopted this resolution with 23 votes in favor, 2 against, and 2 abstentions. All right. Next is agenda item 30, resolution 2025-1654, sponsors Toombs and Spain. This is a resolution authorizing the Metro Department of Law to compromise and settle the property damage claim of Charlie Rodriguez against the Metro government in the amount of $32,710.71, with said amount to be paid out of the self-insured liability fund. Sponsor Spain, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee reports. The Budget and Finance Committee voted in support, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting, and I will move passage.
Okay, there is a motion to approve. It is properly seconded. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay, Ms. Sepulveda, you can be recorded as an abstention. Okay. All right, this resolution has been adopted. Next is agenda item 31, resolution 2025-1655, sponsor Stiles and Evans as well, I believe at this juncture. A resolution calling for the mayor's office and the Department of Emergency Communications to enact various reforms relative to departmental leadership and workplace culture. Ms. Evans, have you signed on as a co-sponsor? Okay, so you are recognized to request, please, first your committee reports, ma'am.
Committee reports, please.
Okay, for the report of the Public Health and Safety Committee, Chair Huffman.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Public Health and Safety voted to defer this item 1 meeting, 8 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, and go ahead, Ms. Hill, for your report for government ops.
We voted the same way, 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting, did defer 1 meeting.
Okay, per Rule 8.1, that is a mandatory deferral of 1 meeting. So that will be taken up, that resolution will be taken up again at our first meeting in December, okay? Next is agenda item 32, resolution 2025-1656, sponsor Benedict. This is a resolution requesting that the Tennessee General Assembly authorize the naming of the Gallatin Pike Bridge over State Route 155 Briley Parkway as the Representative Carson W. Bill Beck Memorial Bridge. Go ahead, council member, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
For the report of the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee, Chair Cash.
We voted 5 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, back to you for a motion, Ms. Benedict.
Thank you. Move approval, and I also do have a late filed amendment.
Okay, so there's a motion to approve. Is there a second? Okay, so the bill is before us, and at this time, are you requesting a suspension of the rules?
I move to suspend the rules.
Okay. Mr. Cash, did you take up the nature of the late filed amendment? Go ahead, sir.
The late filed amendment was not before us.
Okay. Is there any objection to a suspension of the rules for purposes of taking up this late amendment? Seeing none, the rules are suspended. And if you would please explain your amendment. Go ahead.
I'd like to move this late amendment. What this does, 10 minutes ago, we found a little typo. And so this legislation will actually be printed and given to the state legislature to pass this. So we needed to make sure we got it corrected. So the amendment just clears up
A minor
a space and a comma.
Okay, a minor typographical error. Okay, so that is the motion to amend. Was there a second? Okay, is there any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and if you would please renew your motion as amended.
I'd like to move for approval as amended.
Okay, that's great. Is there a second for that? All right, we're on to discussion, and Mr. Bradford, you are recognized, sir.
Madam Vice Mayor.
Oh, would you wish to speak first then?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yes, Mr. Bradford, if you would, please go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So because I pulled this for that typographical error, I thought that I would go ahead and share on Representative Bill Beck died in June of 2023. He was a larger-than-life individual for all of Nashville, but especially for District 7, District 9, District 3, District 5, and District 6, so as well as for the city at large and the Davidson County delegation. This bridge connects Inglewood to Madison, and Representative Beck was Mr. Madison. If you didn't know him, you knew that he was a Madison boy. He talked about it all the time, and he had an infectious laugh that you could hear from Madison all the way to the state capitol. So I'm excited to get this passed. I'm excited to get it to the legislature where they're planning to get it on their omnibus bill for us to pass, and hopefully we'll all be out there celebrating with a new Memorial Bridge name at this time next year. And so, again, I renew my motion.
Thank you, Ms. Benedict. Okay, we're on to discussion. Councilmember Bradford, you're recognized. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, Chair, I was just wondering if the sponsor would amend her motion to include 12.3.
Okay. Is there a second? I see her nodding to apply 12.3 such that all members voting in support or in favor will be recognized as co-sponsors of the legislation. All right. So there is a motion to approve with Rule 12.3 applied. We're approving this as amended with the late amendment. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, you have adopted this resolution. We have already disposed of bills on introduction and first reading. So we are almost done here. We are now moving on to bills on second reading that were not on the consent agenda. Okay. No, let's see. So this is section N of our agenda. First is agenda item 45. This is ordinance BL 2025-956. Sponsors Ellis and Benton. This is an ordinance to amend Chapter 12.40 of the Metro Code of Laws regarding restrictions for street and alley parking. Councilmember Benton, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I think I need committee reports.
Yes, sir. Okay. For the report of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Chair Evan Siegel. This is regarding Ms. Ellis's Bill 956. You're recognized.
The committee voted 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting in favor of the substitute, and 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting to approve as substituted.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe that is the only committee report you require. So it's back to you, Mr. Benton, for an initial motion to get the bill before us, please, sir.
I'd like to move approval, please.
Okay, is there a second? All right, go ahead, sir.
I don't have a lot to say about it, except we do have a substitute to add to it.
Yep.
Do I need to move that right now?
You can do it right out of the gate, sure.
Sure. Well, I'd like to move the substitute.
Is there a second for that motion? Okay. Could you share just a little bit about the substitute?
Basically, this went before the Traffic and Parking Commission, and they found some things that they didn't like. So we modeled, or Tasha, Miss Ellis, put together exactly what they actually wanted in their wording and modeled it exactly after that, did not modify anything from their suggestions and recommendations, and it satisfied what the sponsor was actually trying to accomplish. So
Okay, I appreciate that explanation. So there is a motion to substitute with the primary sponsor, Ms. Ellis's substitute. It is properly seconded, and we're on to discussion of the motion to substitute. First in the queue is Chair of Transportation and Infrastructure, Ms. Evans Siegel. You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. There's been a lot of discussion around this bill, and so I just wanted, since the sponsor isn't here, to say that the substitute makes the bill a lot better. There is still, I think, work that we all agreed on the committee that needs to be done. Not today, in the future. This, though, is much better than what we actually have today. So approving the substitute and then approving as substituted will improve our code significantly. And again, there's still work to continue doing, but it is better than what we're looking at and living with today.
All right, thank you, Chair. And next, Councilmember Parker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'll echo what our Transportation and Infrastructure Chair just shared. We had a lot of discussion at the Traffic and Parking Commission about this proposed legislation as well. I think even back to the point when I was chairing the committee here, lots of discussion. Really appreciate the lead sponsor for working so closely with NDOT, taking that feedback from multiple Traffic and Parking Commission meetings and committee meetings here, and incorporating that into the bill. I'll agree that I think the second substitute is a significant improvement on what's in the code today, and look forward to supporting the second substitute now and potentially looking at some of these parking issues on a more holistic level before the term's over. But I think this is a massive improvement today, and I'd encourage colleagues to support it.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Parker, who represents this body on the Traffic and Parking Commission. All right, I see no one else in the queue on the motion to substitute. So all in favor of the substitute, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, so it's back to you, Mr. Benton, to renew your motion for approval as substituted. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
I appreciate the comments, and I think we're going for excellence, not perfection, and we'll move from there. I would like to move the bill as substituted, please.
Okay, and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion on the motion to approve on second reading as substituted? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, this is passed second reading as substituted. Next is agenda item 46, ordinance BL 2025-1061. Sponsors: Wiener, Style, Bradford, Gregg, Huffman, Gadd, Toombs, Coopin, Benedict, Eastlick, Evans, Lee, Horton, Hill, Ellis, Rutherford, Gamble, Cortez, Evans, Siegel, Suara, Nash, Spain, Druffel, Allen, Webb, Hancock, Vo, and Cap. This is an ordinance to amend Title II of the Metro Code of Laws to establish the Metropolitan Animal Care and Control Commission. Ms. Wiener, Councilmember, you are recognized.
Thank you so much. I would like to ask for a committee report.
All right, for a report of the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee, Chair Cash.
Thank you. We voted 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting on both the bill and the amendment.
Okay. All righty. So it's back to you for a motion on your bill.
I would like to move the bill as amended.
Okay. First, you've got to move approval of the bill. Okay.
Then we will move, sorry about that. We will move approval of the bill, please.
Okay. I heard a second. And so at this juncture, with it properly before us, you can also move your amendment.
And I would like to move the amendment, please.
Is there a second? Would you like to share what the amendment does?
The amendment actually takes out 2 words, and operations.
Okay, so it is a housekeeping amendment.
That's all.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on Sponsor Wiener's amendment? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? And now, Ms. Wiener, you need to renew your motion to approve as amended, please.
I would like to renew my motion to approve as amended.
All right. Is there any discussion on this ordinance on second reading as amended? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, this is passed its second of 3 readings as amended. Next is agenda item 47, ordinance BL 2025-1063, sponsors Toombs, Evans, Siegel, and Spain. This is an ordinance amending certain sections and subsections of Chapter 2.62, Chapter 12.56, and Title 13 of the Metro Code of Laws to modify fees charged by the Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure AKA NDOT, and make various other changes. Ms. Evan Siegel is the second sponsor. You are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I believe we have the Transportation Infrastructure Committee report already, but we still need the Budget Committee report.
For the report of the Budget and Finance Committee, Vice Chair Spain, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Budget and Finance voted for a deferral until January 20th, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, back to you, Ms. Evan Siegel, sponsor.
Thank you, Madam President. I would move slightly differently. I would move to defer to January 20th with a re-referral as well to Traffic and Infrastructure so that it can then go back to that committee as well.
Okay, is properly moved and seconded. Okay, is there any discussion on the motion to defer second reading to the meeting of January 20th, at which time it will be back to with the re-referral to Transportation and Infrastructure? Councilmember Johnston, you're recognized.
Could we add a re-referral back to budget as well? Do you mind amending?
It will automatically go back to budget because, right, they got a little out of cadence with each other, but thank you for asking. Okay, any further discussion on the motion to defer the second reading to January 20th and they will both be back in committee, Budget and Finance and Transportation Infrastructure. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay. This will be taken up again for the meeting of January 20th, back on that agenda. Okay, next is agenda item 48, ordinance BL 2025-1113, sponsors Coupon, Cash, and Allen. This is an ordinance amending Title II of the Metro Code of Laws, authorizing the creation of a Midtown Central Business Improvement District and appointing a corporation to act as an advisory board to the district with the necessary powers and authority to carry out the purpose and intent of the district. Councilmember Coupon, you're recognized, sponsor.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee reports.
All right. For the report of the Budget and Finance Committee, Vice Chair Spain, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Budget and Finance voted for a one meeting deferral, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay. And with that, Mr. Coupon, that is an automatic one meeting deferral by Rule 8.1. So this bill will be back on its second reading at the first meeting in December. Okay? Next is agenda item 49, ordinance BL 2025-1114, sponsors Stiles, Evans, Ellis, and Webb. This is an ordinance amending Title III of the Metro Code of Laws to require departments, boards, and commissions of the metro government to conduct annual employee surveys. Sponsor Evans, you are recognized. This is on Ms. Stiles being absent. This is on her ordinance 1114. Go ahead, you're recognized.
Thank you. Committee reports, please.
For the report of Government Operations and Regulations, Chair Hill.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. We voted for a one meeting deferral, 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, and with that, by Rule 8.1, that is a mandatory one meeting deferral by rule. It does not require a vote. So this will be taken up again on second reading at the first meeting in December. Next is agenda item 50, ordinance BL 2025-1115, sponsor VO. Do we have anybody else signed on to this bill? Okay, Ms. Welsh is going to sign on with the clerk. This is an ordinance amending chapters 16.04 and 16.24 of the Metro Code of Laws to require a fence permit for permanent fences to be constructed within Nashville and Davidson County. Ms. Welsh, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
For the report of Government Operations and Regulations, go ahead, Chair Hill.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. We also voted one meeting deferral, 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, so by rule, this is deferred one meeting to the first meeting in December, the second reading. All right, that concludes all the second reading items. Now we're into third reading, and first among those is agenda item 67. This is ordinance BL 2025-1092, sponsor Horton. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government. by changing from R8 to MULANS zoning for property located at 5701 Robertson Avenue, located on the corner of Robertson Avenue and Midland Avenue. This is 2.30 acres. Mr. Horton, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for a one-meeting deferral, please.
Okay, is there a second? Properly moved and seconded for a one meeting deferral. Anything you want to share about that? You don't have to.
It provides the opportunity for one additional community meeting.
Okay, I appreciate that. It's properly moved and seconded. And is there any further discussion on the motion to defer one meeting? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, this is deferred one meeting. I think we've got one more item or two. Yep. Ms. Welsh, regarding agenda items 70 and 71, okay? These are sponsors Vo and Welsh. They are companions to each other. Agenda item 70 is ordinance BL 2025-1095. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17, the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government by changing from R6 to MULANS and IWD to SP zoning for various properties located south of Hart Street along First Avenue, Second Avenue South, and Andrew T. Whittemore Street, located at the corner of First Avenue South and Hart Street. This is 5.79 acres and partially within the Wedgwood-Houston Chestnut Hill Urban Design Overlay to permit a mixed-use development. And again, its companion, Ordinance 1096, which requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings. So Ms. Welsh, as these are companions to each other, when you take these up, you can do a consolidated motion. So go ahead, ma'am.
I would like to do a consolidated motion and move for a one-meeting deferral on each bill.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion to defer one meeting 1095 and 1093 on their third and final reading? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, colleagues, that concludes our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn? Okay, we are adjourned. Happy Thanksgiving.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.